On. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. My name is Brittany Bly. I'm the founder of Pop Shop America. Our teacher, Alexis, is a little under the weather today. So please, everyone that's tuning in today, please wish her your best. I'm here in the office. While we're waiting to get started, why don't I just show you around? I've got my dog right here. So I'm just going to this is going to get messy for a minute, but it'll be fun. She's so scared. There she is, little corn dog. And you see, we have all this crazy mess going on because we've been finally getting some renovations in the office. So again, I'm here right now, and this is our warehouse in Houston, Texas. So this is where we ship out all of the craft supply kits that you order from us at Pop Shop America. So tonight, in just a few minutes, we are going to have our monthly relax and color event, which is it's really fun. We have a adult coloring monthly subscription box. And so we like to feature that box and kind of give some cool tips, tricks, tutorials, fun stuff to kind of accompany that coloring book or that monthly subscription. So we always like to do something a little bit different. So it's kind of like part adult coloring, part just kind of hang around and have fun, part drawing tutorials, coloring tutorials, different like brush letter pens, crayons, colored pencils, all kinds of fun stuff, how to use them, how to shade with different types of materials, all kinds of stuff like that. It's always the last Thursday of every month. So this month, we're doing something so cool. I'm super excited about it. We have these giant coloring posters. So this is the one that I have right here. If Alexis had been tuning in, you guys would get to see the other coloring poster. So this subscription, it's $12.97 a month. And this month, everybody's getting 2 of these posters. These are 24 by 36. And it comes with, and there's 2 of them, and it comes with some little instructions about different ways you can use them, because I get that not everybody has like a big open space like this, but this is also something that you could gift to a teacher or a therapist. You can fold it up and make it into a smaller book. You can cut it up, make it into a smaller book. You can cut it up, make it into a puzzle that you have to figure out which piece goes where. You can use it as gift wrap. You could store it with your gift wrap. There's so many different ways that you can use it. So please don't think that it's limited to just being on your wall. This is a creative kit. We're all about crafting and tutorials and art and drawing. So please don't feel limited by these different things like that. I hope that for everybody, this is really exciting, because 2 posters for $12.97 is crazy. Like if you look on Etsy or you look on Amazon for coloring posters of this size, you're going to see that they're like $25, $30. They're significantly more expensive than what you would get with this subscription. So it is still available for a couple more days. So if you want to grab it, then we always have, let me see if I can find you guys my coupon code. Let me just like flip through. Nope. Nope. Yep. There we go. Okay. So you guys, every time we do these workshops, we do these live workshops, we always have a coupon code. So today, because I'm here, my name is Brittany, it's 15% off anything at popshopamerica.com, anything at all. You can get 15% off. Use that code Craft with Brittany during your purchase. You can add 20 different items. You can add 1 item, just whatever you want. It's good for anything in the shop. And it's only for today. So this will work actually for like 24 hours. So this will work tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, but you got to get there within 24 hours. So if you want to grab these posters, you can get 15% off. And let me drop a link if I can. I think I can drop a link. Boom. Okay, so there you've got your QR code right here. So you can just hop on over to the website if you want. I'll leave that up for just a couple minutes, and it's now 2 minutes after, so we can go ahead and get started. So hopefully you guys are seeing us okay, hearing me okay. Let me know if you're having any kind of technical issues. I have the chat in front of me so I can see you guys, whether you're on Twitch joining us, if you're on Facebook joining us, if you're on YouTube joining us, I can see your messages. And I am so glad to help you guys. This is community. I want to get to know you. I want you guys to get to know me as a person. So just feel free to drop anything in the chat. And this is a great time to connect, ask any questions that you have, get to know these supplies, these materials, whatever you like. So 1 second, I'm gonna change my little graphic. Is this it? Yep, boom. Okay. I'm just figuring out how all these things work. I'm so excited about them. So just pardon my responses to any time we have like a new little banner on the screen because I'm definitely way too excited about hello being on the screen. But it's exciting to me because I am just learning how to use these QR codes, how to make these text overlays, how to do backgrounds, how to make sure that I can see the chat like while I'm streaming, all that good stuff. Everything that like makes the live streaming good, easy to follow, easy to, have fun. So, okay. So again, it's Adult Coloring Monthly Week, Relax and Color. So we are all going to start to relax and color, you guys. So please grab your coloring pages, your coloring book, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So I have this poster behind me. I don't want to not face you guys for the next hour. So this is the May Adult Coloring Monthly subscription. So if you order right now, this is what you would receive. For anybody that ordered this month, anybody that was a subscriber this month, this is what they received. However, I'm going to be working from some different pages, and please don't worry, I will remove that text so you can see this a little bit easier because I want to be able to work on the table and I want to be able to like hold it up, set it back down so you guys can see what I'm doing a little bit easier. Even for coloring tutorials, sometimes it's so nice if you're overhead, but doing these live streams and like having multiple cameras, it's, sometimes it makes for a bad event, just because it's too much technology, trying to do too many different things at once. And I just really want to be able to connect with you guys. So that's why, I'm right here. I've got one camera, I've got my pages in front of me. So I will be holding them up pretty regularly. So again, for any of these coloring workshops, you guys do not have to be a subscriber to make the most out of this. You can use any coloring pages, anything that you like, anything that resonates with you. There are tons of free downloads on the interwebs, and we have lots of free downloads at Pop Shop America. If you find this event page, or like if you're on YouTube, for example, in the description, you'll see a link to some of our favorite free coloring pages that you can download. You guys can also do this later and just hang out and hear what I have to say. Again, every single month, we focus on something different. So today, we are going to talk about crayons. And I know that sounds really silly because it's, adult coloring subscription. Why are we talking about crayons? But crayons are such a cool supply that hopefully everybody already has. It's something that's family friendly. You can keep them in the house with young children. They're totally safe. They're super cute. They come in a million different colors. They're so inexpensive. It's such a great supply to have. So I want to show you guys some tricks that are going to make your crayons go from something that feels childish to something that feels mature and professional and really beautiful. So let's just go ahead and where is our next? I keep trying to show you guys the wrong. I don't know why these aren't in order. Okay, you already saw this coupon code. You know who I am. Okay, so scumbling. The weirdest word, right? But it's something that's used in painting. It's something that's used in drawing. It's something that's used across mixed media in the art world in general. And it's basically the technique of using any kind of dry medium, so crayons, for example, and working in like kind of a circular pattern. So that's a great way to start, right? And it's super basic. I think that everybody is already familiar with that with crayons, that if you work in a circular pattern, let me take this off so you can actually see my hands, then you can get a really cool effect. Now, I'm working with a big box brand. You might have noticed right here. Now, one thing you probably already know is that not all crayons are made alike. There are definitely brands that are really beautiful and have great color, and there are brands that are waxy and do not have very dense pigment at all. So I really recommend, I know that it's, I always want to support like small businesses, a small guy, independent businesses. I just don't know that that really exists with crayons. You're really better off just sticking with the big brand like this, but that's okay. I mean, they're so inexpensive. And there's also lots of cool packs like this, you guys. I just want to make you guys aware of how much variety exists. They have this really beautiful pack. One of my favorites is they make this beautiful pack of light to tan to brown to cocoa to rich chocolatey skin tones that comes in a pack. And I can't find that one, but my gosh, it's so cool and so inclusive and thoughtful and really interesting. And I think that that could be something that's really nice, to keep around in your different sets. But there's so many of these, like glitter crayons. Are you kidding me? These are made for construction paper, so they're like extra dense, super bright. These right here, pastel, like, oh my gosh, you're killing me with this color palette. So I'm starting with this scumbling technique because I want to show you a couple of different things. One is that one of the quirks with crayons is that whatever color you lay down first, whatever color hits that paper first, is the one that is really going to adhere, is the one that you're really going to see. Blending is a bit of a challenge, but what you can do is you can use this scumbling technique, and then you can combine colors, especially if you use like a really gentle touch to your drawing. And another thing that you can do is you can actually kind of taper colors because we have so many different colors right here. Like this is a pack of 96. I have another pack of 8 right here, another pack of 8, and like I have so many. It's really easy to find colors that are similar. So rather than creating a blend where you're layering one color on the bottom, one color on top, you can also consider finding colors that are really similar, putting those together to create kind of a blending effect or create depth that way. So I'm going to layer my colors first, and then I'm going to show you some of those colors next to each other. Now, what I'm doing, in addition to this scumbling technique, this silly word that I keep saying. Now, the reason that I keep saying it, the reason that I'm talking about it, is that it's a really great way to blend, because what you're actually doing when you're working in circles with your crayons is you're creating something that's a little bit more even, something that's a little bit more seamless. You're not creating like those kind of blocky lines or something that looks very sketchy or scribbly. Instead, you're creating something that's a little bit more smooth, a little bit more seamless. So as you start to layer these colors, it's harder to see those borders. It's harder to see where one color ends and the other color begins. So actually, let me go ahead and then let me go ahead and get a little green underneath here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the 2 different colors that I'm working with, and I'm going to show you where they're blended together and where they're not, so you can see that technique that I'm using. All right, so I'm going to get really close. You guys are going to see me back and forth. So I'm going to be back at the table and back up close. Now, it's definitely not as dramatic in the camera. just the nature of the camera and it flattening it in on film, but I can assure you that this is quite vivid when you see it in person. But here you can see this is my green color that I was working with. Here's my blue color that I was working with. And here, right through the center, is where I've blended them together. Now, what I did to be able to blend them, again, is you want to make sure that you're working extremely light. Make sure that you're not using too much pressure, that you're not using a heavy hand as you press your crayon into the paper, because the bottom layer, whatever touches that paper first, is the color that's going to adhere to that paper. Anything that's on top of it, crayons are waxy. It's actually made out of paraffin wax. So anything that sits on top is not adhering to that surface. It's not bouncing off of that light color. You're not really going to register or see it nearly as much. So anyway, that's our first tip. And you guys are welcome to just try it out, keep coloring with that, see what works. If you're having any trouble finding colors that you like for blending, colors that you want to work with, something that I like to do with every single medium, not just crayons, is I actually make a little swatch, and you can kind of start light and then press really firmly so that you can see that variation in density of that pigment, how it looks when you are very gentle with it, how it looks when you are very firm and you make it really dark. So let me show you those two different colors that I was working with, just swatched out. Now, if you want to make a swatch like this, I recommend labeling all of these so that you'll be able to come back to them later and know which color is which. So there's my little swatch right there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take away this QR code right here. So if you guys want to scan it, just please go ahead. Again, let me just hit up that coupon one more time. I don't know which one's which. Oh, hey, this is our intro. How to use crayons. This is it. That's funny. Okay, there's our coupon code. This is the last time I'm going to show you that. And scumbling, we already talked about that. So let's move on. Blending colors. That's the thing that we kind of are talking about. So let's keep going. Let's try some other ones. What do you guys think? So we did a blue and a green. Why don't we do like a pink to purple, just so you can kind of see some variation, see how this works. Always good to test these new techniques, see how they look in different colors. Of course, your lighter colors, things that are have more white in them, that are like not as dark, they're going to look really different than your colors that are really dark. Your pinks and your purples are going to look totally different than your blues and your greens. Yellow is going to function differently. The way that they interact functions differently. All right, so here is my swatches. Here are my swatches, excuse me. Y'all, I promise I do know English. There's my pink, there's my purple. These are the ones I'm going to work with now. And I'm just going to do that same technique. Now, there's other ways that you can blend colors with crayons too. For example, you could use hatching or cross hatching. That's a series of making lines to create shade. With hatching, you're just making simple lines. Cross hatching, you're making lines and then you're crossing them. Cross hatching, so it's moving in two different directions like an X. So we'll try that as well. But that's a little bit harder to work with. It's definitely not as beginner friendly. That's one of those things that you might actually want to have a bit of a hand for making art to be able to use those techniques really well. So that is not my forte in life. I am definitely more of a crafter. I like to make terrariums and candles and all kinds of fun stuff like that, but I'm certainly not someone that is amazing with figure painting. So techniques like that are quite challenging for me. So just be aware of that. We're definitely here, if you're like me, we're here at Relax in Color to relax. And so doing something that's that advanced, it's not something that you have to do. All right. So I've got a big section of pink this time. I definitely want to show you guys a little bit more of that area. So I've got a bigger section right here. And you guys, I'm still checking the chat. So if you want to say hi, if you have any questions, whatever works for you, just please feel free to jump on into the chat. I'm still using that circular technique. Oh, and I didn't even tell you what coloring book I'm working with. Okay, so you know that Adult Coloring Monthly for May are these posters. I already told you that in the beginning. Again, it's really huge. These are 24 by 36, but you can always cut them down, fold them, use them as gift wrap, use them as a tablecloth at a dinner party or a kid's party, whatever works for you. These images this month are a little bit more family friendly than usual because they are oversized. So I definitely wanted them to be appropriate because, if they're going to hang in your home, we definitely want something that's, for the whole family. So I am working on the table. So I am working with the January Adult Coloring Monthly, which was Chinese New Year. This is the year of the rabbit. I've got this really cool kind of key shape, which is a Asian inspired pattern. So that's what you're seeing right now. So here I've got my pink, here I've got my purple right here, and I'm going to go ahead and layer it through the middle so you can see that blending technique one more time. Then we'll do some hatching and some cross hatching. I'll do that really quickly though, because there's definitely a bunch of other stuff that I want to show you. We'll start easy, we'll start small with some of these techniques, but as we progress, I definitely want to show you some things that are a little bit more advanced. So we'll just keep going. All right. Now here we go. Now you can see my purple, you can see where they're blended together. And I'm gonna even taper that off a little bit more just so we really get a good kind of blend, make it a little bit more seamless. Blur those edges. So to do that, I'm just working a little bit lighter. I'm making my circles a little bit bigger. For anyone that has any shoulder, neck, wrist discomfort, for anybody that's worked in an office, for example, for their career, or anyone that has a sports injury, car accident, anything like that, one thing that can be helpful with coloring, of course, you can always consider your opposite arm. This is a great tool for helping yourself become more ambidextrous. Another thing that you can do is as you're coloring, try to rest your entire forearm on the table, and then that can relieve a little bit of pressure in the arm. Just make sure you're not straining as you work. This is definitely intended for relaxation. So we want to make sure that we're actively relaxing as we work, practice our long, deep breathing, make sure that we're keeping mindfulness on our journaling or our coloring so that we can feel really good about what we're doing. This is something that is here to make us happy, as all crafts are. And the thing that's so special is anything that we create from our own hands, from our own minds, that we're able to take from a process of being unfinished to being finished can be so valuable and beautiful and really fun. So try to enjoy that if you can. Okay, let's see, which ones have we not shown you? I'm sorry. I don't they're not none of these are in order, so I'm just gonna keep, like, blowing through them in, like, no particular order. Ah, use the sides of the crayons, you guys. Okay. Next technique. This one's a really good one, you guys. So, crayons, we don't have to just use the point. We can use the point when we're working with small areas, when we wanna darken something, but we can also use the sides of the crayons. And you guys, this is really important, especially when we're working with pieces like this. If we wanted to be extremely detailed, imagine how long this would take to cover it. And that's fine. If you want to spend all that time, like wonderful, that's great. I mean, your time is your own. You get to do it your way. But what I recommend doing is open up from the bottom of your crayon. This one's already broken, so this one's a little bit easier to work with, but start from the bottom, the flat end of your crayon, and peel back some of the paper. So start from this end, peel back some of that paper, and just let out about this much of the crayon be exposed, and then you can work on the side of the crayon. Now, this is going to be great for covering large areas, but it's definitely not good for detail. And even something like this piece that I'm working with right here, you got to be able to see this. Let me remove this. There we go. Even this piece right here is detailed enough to where working with the side of the crayon is a bit challenging. But look at how fast I'm covering this area. Like, I mean, this is just so much faster than using the tip of the crayon. And it's something that's going to blend really evenly. It's harder to make it darker. It's easier to make it lighter. You really have to press down to get a firm enough touch to be able to deepen, darken that color. I'll show you what I mean in just a second. But it's wonderful for blending for that reason. Because again, remember that whatever color adheres to that paper, that's the color that we're really going to see when we're working with crayons. This is so fast. So anytime you're working with large open areas, consider trying this technique. Super fun, super cute. And here we go, right here. See, I colored all of this, all over here, all of it, all of this. But see, it's nice and light, right? It's definitely not as dark as this right here. This is a very similar color. It's a different crayon, but it's similar. So be wary of that. Here, I'll swatch it for you so you can see compared to the other purple. And this one's very waxy. So still Crayola crayon, but so waxy. This is what we're working with right here. And this is how it looks. And we use the side of the crayon. Let's go ahead and blend it. Let's try a different one. Let's try some of this blue right here. Ooh, this looks like I think this is one of the glittery ones. It's got a special wrapper. The wrapper looks a little bit different. Oh, this might be too similar, actually. I'm not sure that this is blue. This is exactly why we swatch. Oh, yeah, this is too similar. This is why we swatch, is because this here looks blue. On paper, it is purple. So let's try a different one. Once we do this, I want to show you guys hatching and cross hatching. Then I want to show you the coolest technique that I bet you guys have never seen with crayons, in which we are going to scrape off the wax, and that's going to create a smoother finish. It's going to look so professional. It's going to look really good. So please do stay tuned for that. If you guys are just getting home from work, if you're, at home, step away for a minute or just listen, and I'll make sure to describe everything as thoroughly as I can so that you can, make yourself that glass of wine that you want, or hang out with your kids, or, whatever you have going on. Just leave it in the background. And so that way, when we get to that next tutorial, hopefully you'll hear it and be able to step in for a minute. We'll also have this workshop as a replay. All of our weekly Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central Time workshops are always available afterwards on YouTube and on Facebook. They're available on Twitch for like almost a week, but then they go away. Okay, so here's the one that I'm going to work with, and I am blending on top of that purple. Now, I'm not going to do the whole thing. because then you wouldn't be able to see the difference. This one is quite subtle, so hopefully you'll be able to see this on camera. But it's definitely quite vivid when you're here in person. Yeah, you can tell. So here is where we've added this kind of grayish blue color, this color right here. It's on camera, it definitely looks pretty gray. Okay, good. I think this reads pretty true on my camera screen. Every screen is going to be a little bit different, so your screen might show this a little bit different. But this is basically kind of a sea storm gray, grayer than cornflower blue, but definitely kind of in that world. And then here you can see how it's grayed out that purple, and then here it's getting definitely a lot lighter, but also a lot more purple over here and a lot grayer over here. So I want to show you that hatching and cross hatching, and I just really want to show you what that means. If you guys already know all about hatching and cross hatching, thumbs up. Cool, very cool. So hatching again is creating shade by making lines, and you're just working in one direction. And so there's a couple of different things you can do. Is one, you can make that shading lighter by actually physically lightening up on your touch, making your touch heavier in the places that you want darker. But you can also simulate darkness and light by making your lines closer together and making more lines where you want it to be dark, and then making your lines farther apart, making them having more space in between the lines where you want them to be lighter. So there's two different ways that you can make hatching lighter and darker. So I'm kind of doing a combination of both of those things so you can see what I mean. Okay. So here's my hatching. So again, creating shade, just working in one direction. There we were going darker and then we're going lighter. We're also making these lines a little bit farther apart. Now, why am I doing this with crayons? What is the point of showing you hatching when it comes to crayons? Like, what does one have to do with the other? You know, you can use hatching with any kind of drawing technique. So, like, what's the point of this? Well, the point of this is, as I keep mentioning, the fact that the whatever pigment you put on the bottom is the one that's really going to adhere to the paper and thus the one that you're going to see. It's just kind of the nature of crayons and how they work. So hatching is one cool technique that you can use for blending colors, and it's kind of a trick of an eye because what you're doing is you're creating these spaces in between the lines. Those spaces are less apparent, you know, in darker areas and then more apparent in other areas. But you can also, it's an easy way to be able to add other colors in between those lines and be able to blend them. So we're still talking about blending, but just kind of some cool, quirky ways to be able to blend. So it's really a cool way to think out of the box. All right, so I'm doing another section. This time I'm going to cross hatch, and I'm going to cross hatch a different color so you can see what I mean. Oh, and I really want you guys to see my dog. For anyone that was here in the very beginning, I was able to show my dog on camera, but she's right here. I take my dogs to work with me every day, and she's just like, "What are you doing? Like, why are we here late? Like, what is going on?" And she is so into this. So I'm definitely going to show you guys. Hopefully you guys are dog lovers like me. Here we've got our hatching. Again, it's hatching right now, right? Because it's just moving in one direction. Darker right here, lighter up here. But let's turn this into cross hatching and let's use a different color. So drop me a message in the chat if this is fun or boring. Drop me a line if you're like, I already know this. Like I want to hear from all the art experts And I want to hear from all the people that are learning something new today. I'm sure we're all in different places. We all have different skill sets. Again, a big thing that I like to do are things like candle making, terrariums, things that are like very crafty. So drop me a message if you guys are into that too. Okay. Here we have got our cross hatching. So see, it's almost purple. Y'all, I used a blue crayon. I can assure you I did not use purple, but it's reading as purple because we were able to get a little bit of that blue on top of the pink. Some of it is visible, some of it is not so visible. And then we're also able to get some of that blue in between that pink. And it just, the way that it layers like that, we're definitely darker over here. We're getting lighter over here. I'm surprised the blue actually reads so dark when you see it in person, but on screen, oh yeah, there we go. If we get really close, we just got to get really close for you guys to be able to see that. It's actually quite dark compared to the pink in real life. All right, what else do we got? Blend colors, we talked about that. Scumbling, I mean, that's our word of the day, so use the size of the crayons. We talked about that. Scrape off excess wax. This is like my most favorite thing in the whole world. It's so cool. If there is one takeaway from today, I hope it is this. Now, let me show you what I'm going to use to scrape off my wax. It can get messy when you're scraping off wax, but what we're doing, so again, crayons are made out of paraffin wax. Only a very small amount of it is actually creating that pigment, is like sitting in the paper, is sitting in all of those grooves of the paper. The rest of it is just sitting on top, and it comes across as very waxy, as almost muted. It kind of like affects the color. It's one of the things that makes it feel more kid-like. So what we want to do is use a tool to scrape off the excess wax. So let me show you what I'm going to use, which is basically like a little plastic tool that you would get if you were using like a mud mask. Like sometimes these come in like any kind of mud mask, things. So you could use something like this. You can use probably like a plastic. I've seen people use like plastic clay tools. One thing you want to watch out for is anything that's too sharp, anything that's too heavy, anything that's like a heavy, sharp, dense metal. So, like a butter knife seems like it might be a good idea, but that would probably be too heavy and it would just scrape and scratch the paper. Whereas, like, this is plastic. So, this is a really great thing to use because it's pretty soft, it's pretty flexible. It's something that we can, work with without it damaging the paper, right? We don't want to damage the paper. We just want to remove the wax. Again, it's something that's going to be pretty messy, and it's something that's most effective in all of your areas that are really dark and dense with pigment. So I'm actually going to darken this purple area right here. And actually, what I want to do is I want to show you a large area. That's the only way that I think that scraping this wax is really going to make sense on camera right now. So let me just deepen and darken this area, and I'll do half of it scraped, and then I'll leave half of it unscraped so you can see what I mean. So because we're working with a dry medium, paraffin wax, crayons, and it's something that's just sitting in the surface and sitting in the grooves of the paper, it's really normal for that pigment to look kind of uneven, almost like if you have a gray sweatshirt and it's that heather gray, right? Where it's like faded or it's like not consistently solid, perfect color. Crayons are basically doing the same thing on the surface of the paper. So what we're going to do is we're going to smooth that out. Why do I keep losing my tool? Oh, this is why I shouldn't work late. Like, oh, it's right here. It's like invisible. It's too small. So here I've got my different darker pigments. I'm going to scrape like half of it. I'm going to scrape like this portion of our little, look, it's like a little Tetris shape. So I'm going to scrape this portion. I'm going to leave that portion alone. baby, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bump you. My dog is super sensitive, y'all, so I just bumped her, and she was very upset, like I did something terrible. All right. So see what I'm doing is I'm literally just scraping this crayon, scraping the wax. Now, I don't think you guys are going to be able to see the wax physically coming off. I'm going to try to show you guys this, but there's wax that's physically coming off of the paper. So again, this is something that's a little bit messy. Oh, you can see it on the tool for sure. And this will just wipe right up, but you can see I've got that purple right there. So that's the purple that we've scraped off that area. This is the scraped area. I don't know if this really reads. Let me get so crazy close. I think if it's like really close, you guys will be able to see what I'm talking about. Yeah, see, I don't think it reads on camera as beautiful as it looks in real life. I'm gonna do a fresh area that's not like blended or anything like that, so you can really see this in action because it is such a dramatic difference if you're here in real life. And I really want you guys to be able to see this on camera. This is definitely a technique that I want you guys to try. Scraping off the excess wax. It flattens that wax. It removes anything that's not sitting in the grooves of the paper, anything that's just sitting on the surface. It'll get rid of that. And it really makes those crayons look so professional. It makes it like, it's kind of glossy. It almost changes like the quality of the paper. Like it makes the paper look different. It looks so good. So again, this is something that works really well when you have pretty even, dense pigment. So if you're coloring something really light, you're not going to see as much of a difference as when you have something that's like nice and deeply colored, when you're pressing really firmly. So just be aware of that. Okay. Now I've got a large area. Okay, let's check this out. So I'm going to do a before and after. Here's my new area, so it's not like I've blended colors together and all that stuff, super confusing, all that. I feel like, you know what? I think I told you guys it was this before. Cameras are backwards. Whenever you're doing videos like this, everything is backwards, so it's easy to get confused. This is the area, you guys, that I scraped before. I'm glad we're doing a separate section for this very reason. Okay, take my tool, scrape, scrape, scrape. This time you are definitely going to be able to see some of this extra pigment as well, because I'm going to stop in the very center of this shape that I drew so you guys can see it. Okay, so you can see all my extra pigment right there. And yes, you can definitely see what I'm talking about. See how even and gorgeous and soft and like more pristine this looks right here, and how this looks scribbly and very handmade. And that's okay too. If you like this look, that's wonderful. I mean, Cy Twombly is an amazing mid-century artist that excels at that sketchily technique. I'm going to drop that in the chat. Can I drop that in the chat? How do I choose? Here we go. Cy Twombly. There we go. So we can all look them up later if you want to. But this is likely an effect that might work for you or will work for you when you're coloring because it can look so professional, right? And this is something that is intuitive for working with crayons. This is not something that is intuitive, right? Like, whoever told you to use a mud mask scraper or a clay tool, when working with crayons. So any of this excess wax will dust right off. And there you go. Scrape off excess wax. So let me know what you guys think. So let me know if you like this latest edition of Adult Coloring Monthly. Let me know what your favorite edition is. Let me know which techniques you're going to try with these crayons. And let me know which one is your favorite and if you're going to use any of them. And that's basically it for today, you guys. So we'll just hang around for a couple of minutes. I'll just see if anybody is interested in asking some questions. I'll go ahead and give you guys that coupon code one more time because I don't want you guys to miss this. We only do this coupon code. So again, this is my name. I'm Brittany Bly. I'm the founder of Pop Shop America. This was Relax and Color, How to Use Crayons. We only do this coupon code on Thursdays during our live event. So this coupon code is live right now. It'll be live until tomorrow about midday. So you can get 15% off of anything. So if you want to grab these posters, please do it. Your QR code is right here. So please go ahead and use that or lose it. And let me tell you about the upcoming workshops while I'm waiting to see if anybody has any questions or any concerns. Our next workshops, I'm literally going to the website, so I don't have them memorized. So when I'm looking up the workshops, I'll drop this in the chat. The best way that you can see all of them is you can go to Eventbrite and follow us along on Eventbrite. We post everything on Meetup. So if you follow Pop Shop America on Meetup, thank you so much, Carla. We really appreciate you being here, and I hope to see you again. And this is the link on our website where you can see our upcoming workshops. So next up, we have, on June 1st at 4 p.m., y'all, we are doing our craft haul sales again. So I'm going to show you guys on June 1st at 4 p.m., I'm going to show you guys the upcoming Craft and Style subscription box. I'm going to show you the upcoming Adult Coloring Monthly subscription box. We are going to have sales. We're going to have giveaways. Everything will be on sale during that day. We'll have sneak peeks. I'll show you all of our new items. It'll be super fun. I'll be there personally. And it's a really great way to talk through like any questions you have about any particular kits. Like if you're thinking about getting a candle making kit and you're like, oh, I want to know what essential oils blend better with this, or does this supply come in this particular kit, or do I need to, what other supplies do I need? Like what kind of heat source can I use to melt wax? Things like that. I can answer any questions you have about any kit. I can show you every single supply that's in any kit we carry. So that is super fun, and I'll be there personally for that. So that's June 1st, 4 p.m. June 1st, 7 p.m., we're going to do lava lamp lip gloss, and that's going to be so cool, and it's so fast, and it's so easy. So that workshop will probably just be like 20 minutes or something. I don't think it's going to be really long. It's a really fast tutorial, but it is so cool. You can do it in a million different colors, and it's just like a lava lamp where you basically have swirls of color sitting inside of your lip gloss, and you can kind of turn it upside down and make them like move up, turn it right side up, make them move back down. It's very, very fun, very simple, hopefully very inspiring. Our next local event in Houston, Texas, for anybody that's in Houston, is June 6th. We start at 6 p.m., but I think technically you're supposed to arrive at 5:30 p.m. It's at Bagby Park, and it's free. Teach You Tuesday is free. It is always free. And we are going to make succulent terrariums. So you will literally get succulents. You will get a terrarium completely for free. I will also be there personally for that. It's so fun. You guys, they will give you snacks and drinks. So you can just like sip on wine with your friends for free, like making a terrarium that you get to keep like in a park. It's so cool. Please join us for that. Then after that, June 8th, 7 p.m., we have wood wick candle making. So if you guys are interested in candle making with wood wicks, it's very different than a cotton wick. There's a lot of quirks to it. I have some tips, I have some tricks. The candles are going to be beautiful. It's going to be so much fun. So that's June 8th. June 10th, you guys. So this is the last thing, and then we'll hop off. So I'll be done in just a second. Oh, I'm new. I never you could do that. Thank you. That's so cool. My outdoors life. So glad to hear these comments, you guys. So love this stuff in the chat. So again, June 10th. If y'all don't know me, if y'all haven't known me for years, we used to host a huge craft fair, a craft festival. We did them in Houston, Austin, San Antonio, and we quit doing them after Hurricane Harvey, because the city was decimated. I mean, it was billions of dollars in damage, and it just was not feasible to ask people to come to a craft fair, like, when people are rebuilding homes. Like, I think it was about 1 out of 10 homes that were destroyed or had damage. So it was such a bad time for Houston. So that's when we really focused on moving to virtual, and we quit doing as many in-person events. But you guys, we worked with so many small businesses and so many makers. I still have gorgeous earrings, t-shirts, jewelry, housewares, accessories, um, leather goods, purses, coin purses. We have so many things that we were working with at that time that we just held on to, because we were like, oh, after Harvey, after we recover, and it was like Houston just really wasn't the same for quite some time. So we're doing like a crazy deep discount. Like, it's going to be like leather purses for like $1. So if you want to join us for that, that is going to be June 10th at 11 a.m. And again, all of this is on the website. And my name is Brittany Bly. This is Pop Shop America. We will be back next week with our regular teacher, likely. I'll be here a little bit over the next couple months. I'm actually doing more workshops than normal. Oh, and I told you that I was going to show you the dog. She gets so scared. There she is, this corn dog. She's a cutie. So you guys have the best night, and thank you so much for being here, and we'll see